Hey there, and welcome to Utah. It's a program dedicated to diversity, highlighting native-born and new Canadians' cultures and experiences. I'm your host, Ryan Funk. Studying in different countries can have diverse experiences with drastically different teaching principles. Studying in both Ghana and Canada, Gloria Makafui Dovoh has an in-depth perspective from both countries and has utilized that knowledge in her studies. She's an experienced outreach coordinator with a demonstrated history of working in the civic and social organization industry.
And I come from quite a large family, and I'm the last child of my parents. So in terms of my background, I attended my primary education all through to university, all in Ghana, and I came to Canada in 2018, fall of 2018. And what I do for a living, I work with a not-for-profit organization here in Winnipeg that it seeks to empower newcomers and also just to integrate into the Manitoban society. Basically, that's what we do. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And I can definitely relate to the large family. My background is Mennonite, and the community I come from, there's some people that have like 12 siblings, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's quite large, but not as large as 12. Like together, friends, we are about 8. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I definitely understand those kind of extended families. Yeah, when Mennonites have a family gathering, it turns into a large large ordeal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a party. Same here.
Fantastic. So yeah, you recently achieved your master's degree in developmental practice. So how about just go over exactly what this is and what attracted you to take these kind of studies in the first place?
The Masters in Development Practice program, which we call MDP, it's a multidisciplinary program which has its global association in the Earth Institute at Columbia University in New York. And how I found the program was very interesting. My dad actually found the program, but then I already had interest in community development and participatory development. So it was really a good fit. And before I came to the program, I didn't really know that it was a family until I got here. It was like a family. It has become a lifestyle to say the least, because it's made me empathetic. It's made me understand people's perspective. And it's really a good program, to be honest. It's really good.
Yeah, just walk me through a little bit about the studies and what you all learned. And just from the sound of it, anything that makes someone more empathetic or more understanding, that's great.
Yeah. So just a background story before that. I had my first degree in geography with a focus on resource development, and I majored in that, and it was about human development with a minor in sociology, for which I wrote. I published a dissertation on the livelihood conditions of female street headload porters in a suburb in Ghana, in the capital city of Ghana, Accra. So just a little story about the headload porters. These are young women who migrate from the northern part of the country, which is typically economically deprived. So they come down south in search of better opportunities, and they end up facing like a myriad of difficulties. So I was just trying to understand why, like, the push and the pull factors that constituted their migration. So from there, I became very much involved in community development. I also volunteered in so many other things. So it was a very good fit for me to come to the MDP. And for the MDP, it was focused mainly in indigenous development. So knowing about the indigenous culture, and then we came for a whole 1 week or two orientation at Fisher River Cree Nation. So we participated in ceremonies, we participated in like medicine picking, so many fun activities. Like it was sacred, and then it was interesting because most of the activities, the ceremonies, were kind of similar to what we used to do back home in my culture. With the MDP, we had various courses across board in health, environment, in like you just name it. We even had an indigenous elder who used to take us through courses. So it was like a holistic form of learning, I would say. It was holistic, and then it was a family. Like, yeah.
Oh, that sounds nice. And then it just was an easy transition into your other studies.
Exactly. It's because like it was something that I had kind of not exactly done the same thing, but then had a for like knowledge and then interest. Yes, I would say it's interest that's made me want to apply. And oh, the MDP also had an option of having two practicums, so one international, one local, and it helps you get to know more about the community work, not just on paper, but hands-on learning, and also just as I said, being empathetic, understanding people's point of view and not always dominating. Yeah. So it was a bottom-up approach. Yeah.
It really sounds like you're really passionate about helping others. Is that something that's always interested you or always kind of driven you to help others?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I participated in various volunteer activities back home in Ghana and even here in Winnipeg. I also engaged in them. So my very first volunteer community-led or grassroots initiative was a not-for-profit called Support for People's Foundation. And that foundation was mainly to support less privileged children in Ghana, like in some selected schools, by providing them with basic stationery and other things. So like it's just been at the beginning, it was just fun to just try and be like, oh, a part of something. But then growing up and then getting to understand people's very like, should I say, deep realities, it made me appreciative of life for myself and also try to do as much as I can. It doesn't mean I'm like too rich to be helping people, but then if I could help even with a kind word, I think that's something that I've grown into. And the MDP has also become like a lifestyle. So it helps, like it has helped me so much. Yeah. And I think that's what probably like has landed me into this, my job now.
So how about we focus a little bit about your job, what exactly you all do, and kind of some of the current projects that are underway.
So I mainly work in related to mental health and the COVID pandemic right now, the COVID-19 pandemic. So just supports various ethnocultural communities that are in Winnipeg and in Manitoba with various activities. So for instance, we recently had a youth program, and then we've had women's programs, seniors programs. So just activities that would engage community and also make like it's community led, not done for the community. So it's just to make people know that this is also going to pass and then we are all in this together. So that's what we just do, like supporting community in any way we can in terms of financial, like mental health support, and yeah, just supporting the community basically.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's incredibly important. I mean, for many people, they feel incredibly
Exactly.
alone right now, not able to see friends or
Yeah.
family.
And social media, or should I say technology, like right now on Zoom, everything like it's really, even though it doesn't feel the same, it's at least bridging the gap between like the in-person and all of that. So we've used it a lot, and it's really we got feedback concerning like all the activities that we've had, and people are very like happy about it, should I say. And people are lonely, as you mentioned. So all of these things are just a way to lighten up the mood because yeah, we will get past this very soon, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. So is this kind of like a term position during COVID, or will your responsibilities transition once we finally sooner or later get out of this whole pandemic?
So as of now, I'm not very sure, but then fingers crossed, who knows? I'm still like just open for more opportunities, never like limit yourself. So I'm just hoping for more opportunities as and when they
Mhm.
come.
What would you
Yeah.
like to do?
So basically also like as I've mentioned, community development, work in the settlement sector, just being there for people, even like as I mentioned, I'm not rich, but then the support and then bring some expertise, knowledge, and also learn from people Yeah, so basically that's working in the settlement sector, and I have a very big interest in migration. So in the migration sector, it's really something that I look forward to.
I mean, there's always people moving to Canada.
Exactly, yeah. And also, I mentioned that the MDP is like a global association, has a global association in the F Institute. So it kind of like boils down on global development in like our program actually started off from the Millennium Development Goals. So it's like just about global development and any form of like participatory or community development. So I'm interested in those things. And also after my first degree, I had opportunity of working with a research consortium called the Migrating Out of Poverty. So through that, it's just like I had the opportunity of working with the migration data, like just managing the data. And it's very interesting that now I'm a part of that migration data because like migrated and came here because like there's so many obstacles that's or maybe should I say factors. There's something called the push and pull factors, what pulls people from to one place and then what pushes people away, all of those things. And also the in transits, what people face. And now I'm here in a destination region. So what people also facing here. So it's just about community development, global development. So in any way, any opportunity that I get in those fields, I'll be very, very, very glad to do. Yeah.
So, how about we talk a little bit about education? You went to school both in Ghana and Canada. Maybe go over a little bit about just your thoughts on the importance of getting an education, and kind of the differences that you've experienced in the education in these two countries.
So, with regards to education, for me personally, I think education is important. And for my family, education is like really, really important. It's not like a competition, but then all my siblings and I have master's degrees as of now. And one of us has two master's degrees. So it's like, it's not a competition, as I mentioned, but then there's too much motivation in the system to not want to do, like, to not want to achieve too much. So for my family and myself, it's very important. So coming here to study, one of the differences, the major differences that I realized was the class size. With the University of Winnipeg, okay, I think it's a graduate program because even back in Ghana, I assisted some professors with their classes in the graduate program, and they were small classes. So I think if I were in graduate school in Ghana as well, I'll be in a small class. So that's the difference, the class size for my first degree. Because the first degree, the professor didn't know me by name. But over here, even when I didn't want to get noticed, it's noticed. So I think that's the difference, the class size. And the second thing is also the financial aspect. So for my first degree, I practically like my dad was like, go to school and then study. That was it. I was just studying and he handled all the financial. But coming here, I had to manage both for myself. And all I can say, it wasn't a joke. Yeah. So that was a very harsh reality I had to learn, like when I came here. And I thought I was having a problem when I was back home with my undergraduate. I was like, oh, I have to study all of these things. But coming here, I realized I didn't have a problem, but I was still complaining. So two major differences, class size and then having to pay my tuition and study on top of that. Those are the two big differences that I have realized. Yeah.
I mean, it's never bad to get those kind of eye-opening experiences. It helps you grow as an individual.
Yeah, it's really helped me grow, honestly. Like, because I know education is important, but then the financial aspect could either make or break it. So I'm very much cautious of that. Yeah.
So, the work you do in civic and social organizations and industries, what would you like to see change for the better in social developments?
I would really like to see a lot of things change, but then, it's one step at a time, or probably I would say we take it one day at a time. So as of now, I think access to information is a big thing because I think it's quick with the help of social media now. We have like it's moving faster, but I think could be a lot more quicker because, for instance, if the information is old and you work with it and then you find out that, oh, it was old, like your work is just as much redundant as anything. So you just keep working on old data and then you find out that it's past. So you think information should get to maybe people in the settlement sector quicker, and it will help a great deal. So that's something that I think could be worked on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we need to, focus on being a collective. If part of the population isn't getting education or able to transition into jobs that require degrees, then it kind of like pulls us all down.
All down, exactly. It pulls us all back because like we're trying to move ahead, but you can't leave anyone behind because there's something in the global goals, that is sustainable development goals, that says leaving no one behind. So trying to all move together, but then if you don't have access, I don't know how all of us can keep moving. So that's one of the major things.
How do you think we can kind of shift and adjust that kind of individualistic mindset as we're, just in a Western culture? It's very individualistic. How do we work on shifting those ideologies and principles toward more collective, working together?
That's really a good question. Yeah. So for me, I think it starts maybe even with the family because personally, my dad always keeps talking about how we need to be communal, how we need to think about the other person, how we need so I think it could start from the family when parents instill that in the younger generations that we need to care about the other person and also not just ourselves because you never know what will happen like in the very near future. So I think it starts from the family and also with people who are already grown up. I think it's about the personal agency to want to help the other person, not just look for like opportunities or look out for only yourself. Because sometimes it's hard, but then, we can't leave other people behind. Those people that are left behind may end up coming back to hurt you. So if you help them from the start, I think they'll be okay with themselves. Like this is just like I'm maybe saying it as lightly as I am saying it, but then putting in an effort, the human agency to help other people really goes a long way. So
yeah, I definitely can understand that where, if you do something nice for someone else, they're likely to turn around and do that for someone else as well in need. And then you can kind of like build it up from there.
True. Yeah. So I think maybe helping, like just knowing that it's not all about you. It's really like the human agency, people who are already grown up. You don't like the family cannot really instill that again, but then it's just up to the individual to want to help other people.
So access to information, a more collective ideology and outlook. What are some other things that you would like to kind of see addressed or that, we can work towards?
So another thing, so this is something that I had in my master's degree, my major research paper. It was about gendered homelessness in Winnipeg. So women who are homeless in Winnipeg was just trying to look at the services available to specifically to women. And I realized there's so many gaps in there because women, for instance, who have children are likely not to access homeless shelters because of one, safety, sanitation, and all of that. So I think that maybe if this is not too big to ask, housing is a very big issue. Like some houses available right now are vacant, but then people are on the street. So like there's like it's really difficult to understand. It's not as easy as I'm saying, but it's very difficult to understand that there are empty rooms whilst people on the street. And recently someone died in the cold because like he had nowhere to sleep. And we are all saying, oh, we are all in this together and all of these things, but we are not really we are all not in this together because people are really suffering and some people are just enjoying. To be honest, I think like there's more to be done in houses.
Housing, homelessness.
Yeah, because like when I did my research, I knew it was a research paper, but it was getting to me, like, I was like, okay, so this is a very serious thing. Why would people, not just women, but then why would people be on the streets while some houses are empty? And also, I also found out that there's a term called renoviction. Landlords take people out of their houses in the name of renovating it, and then they are really not renovating it, but they're just trying to get it to like become better at a higher price for other people.
Yeah,
So
they get you out, they increase the price, and then you can no longer afford it.
exactly. So I feel like there's so much that this, I don't know, world needs to work on. But the more I talk about it, it makes me sad. So I don't really talk about it always. A little I can do.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that when you kind of see the suffering in the world and you want to make a difference, but the changes that are happening are slow, and you just want people to be happy and healthy.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Life is so short, so at least we should enjoy it, not like suffer. And then like it's very sad. It's very sad, to be honest. And like looking at this whole thing I talked about, like women who are homeless, sometimes even women in abusive relationships are considered homeless per their definition. So you could be in a home, but then if you are not happy, or you are still homeless. So like it's just a lot of things that sometimes I don't think my heart can take it, because it's so, but yeah, one day at a time.
Yeah, one day. I know. I saw a person online talking, and they're saying that if we had more services available, we wouldn't have to rely on charities
Exactly.
or philanthropy.
Exactly. That's true. I think the charity sector, they're trying to like fill in the gaps, and they're really doing an amazing job. Like, to be honest, with this COVID happening, like you'd see that, oh my God, this is going on. Like, it's really good. So they are filling the gaps, assuming like there was something else. I don't think they'll be existing, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's people doing good out there.
Exactly. Yeah, really.
And but it would be nice if there were more systems in place where it didn't fall on the responsibilities of the individuals, and us as a collective could take care of each other.
True, very true. Yeah, very true.
That's just my hope for the future, my kind of dream as well.
Exactly, my hope for the future. But like, there's really hope. But then, in the moment, what is happening is like sad. But then, we're working on it day by day. And,
So you mentioned you knew a lot about migration. You kind of did a study and saw the data on that. I guess just what are some of the things or trends that you're seeing as someone who moved to Canada yourself? Some of the struggle, the hurdles that can kind of come up, some of the challenges, and what can be adjusted or changed based on your own experiences to make that transition moving here more seamless.
wow. So I came here about say this is my third year. So coming here, you have to pay a lot of money to kind of get your visa. And I came as an international student, so I had to have some money to prove that I could pay my tuition. And also, medicals, you have to also buy the flight tickets, which is like, sometimes you get the admission about just a few months before you come, and then flight tickets are very expensive around that time. So like it's just a lot of money that if you do not have it, coming as an international student is a different story. So this is my personal like journey. I came as an international student. So come to think of it, people who come as how do I call it, asylum seekers and all of that, some of them do not have money. So I feel like the migration industry kind of is a big money business, like, to be honest, because the little, like, even for me alone, if I calculate the amount I paid, it's a lot. So if about 10,000 people are paying the amount, you can imagine how big it is. So that's like one of the things, the financial aspects is a big challenge. And then I think also that, I mentioned that I worked with yes. So the data, some of the trends, whether people migrate, like there's something called stepwise migration. People migrate to one area first to probably make ends meet to continue to their final desired destination. So with that, some people end up like doing any kind of job, and it's like, should I say, risky and dangerous and all of those things. Some people also go on rubber dinghies through like the very dangerous Mediterranean Sea and all of that. So like, it's just like, it depends on what the person is coming to do at their desired destination. That's kind of like makes the migration either regular or irregular. So regular, I mean, if you come in as an international student, it's regular. You come by flight and all of that is regular. But people who kind of like smuggle into the country is irregular. That's per definition. But you do not really understand why people want to move. So I mentioned at the beginning, there's something called the pull and push factors. The pull factors are things that are in the desired destination that attracts people to come here, like for instance in Canada. And then the push factors could be war, it could be financial difficulties, it could be just a lot of things. So it's personal to an extent, and it's also not people's fault that they move. So like one of the things that we did for the research also to get to know what was happening personally and then try to synthesize it into something big. So I can't just talk for everyone, but then there's a lot of different things. It depends on why you're coming and what's happening back where you are from. That's kind of bringing you here. So there are different trends, to be honest. So many trends, so many like stories, so many, yeah. And we have to take into account all of those stories because they are very important. It's like little drops of water making a big ocean. So yeah, some of the trends that from data and from personal experience I have realized.
If you have any stories you'd like us to share or communities we should highlight, leave a comment on our social media or reach out to us on our website. I'm Ryan Funk. This was U Talk, and have yourself a good one.